Hello, everybody. It's Friday. That means it's time for another topic of the week. So, first things first, last week's topic on your General's Handbook 2 Hopes and Fears. Lots of good responses there to that, as always. There's always good discussion around it. There are a lot of people hoping for a lot of points, sort of balances and changes, which all makes sense. One of the fun things that I thought got pointed out, and it's funny because then it ended up coming up on the show this week, was last year with the General's Handbook, we ended up getting some spoilers of like things that were going to be coming out in the next month and a half. So shout out to Peacemaker, to Kyle, for mentioning that and bringing that back to my head, because before we talked about it on the show, I had totally forgot that happened. So I'm excited to see, hopefully, what some spoilers are for maybe some additional releases. Obviously, we know we're going to be mainly in the 40K world for the rest of the year, but that's okay. I'm still hoping we get a couple more solid AOS releases. Overall, I think what most people want to see was just some expanded support for various items. There were some interesting new suggestions for Rules of One. I think what a lot of people feel is the stacking thing. They want to see some version of the stacking thing show up. By that I mean you can't stack same named bonuses at very minimum. There's a couple different ways that could play out, but I thought that would make the most sense. It seems the most, I guess, internally consistent with the other Rules of One and kind of what they're pointing at in the game balance world. So it's one that makes sense. So let's talk about this week's topic. So this week, the Warhammer Community team put up a post on their Facebook, as well as on the community site, which links out to it, asking for, and again soliciting, feedback for questions and FAQs, because they're going to roll out another round of rules clarifications and a new FAQ for AOS. And just like they did last time, they rolled that out and sort of openly, publicly solicited for questions. So I'll have the link to that down there. So if you want to go, throw your own questions or clarifications in the mix, you can. In reading through the comments on Facebook, what it made apparent to me is that a lot of people didn't read the assignment. A lot of people took it as an excuse to ask for things. We want an elf release or something like that. That's all fine. I get it. It's people sort of evincing their opinion, but it's not really what that particular thing was about, and it just creates noise when 500 people say elves. Well, whatever. But it led me to my question and my topic of the week, because I think it is important. I think that the exercise is good. Going out and reaching out to people to find the most commonly asked questions or clarifications or places where they need to clean stuff up is a good thing to be in. I don't think it's the place to start suggesting overhauls to the rules, which is what most people do in there. I think what we're talking about is, with these rules, how do we clarify them and make them better? Like, there could be updates to the rules, and that would be a separate thing. It would happen as part of General's Handbook or whatever. But so here's my question for this week's topic. What are the clarifications or the sort of the proud nails? What are those things in AOS, if you've got one or two of them that you think are that they need to answer in the FAQ? What are your frequently asked questions? What are your clarifications? What are you hoping to see them clarify, spell out clearly? If I had one, it would probably be to clarify the reroll before modifiers and the way it actually works. I probably need to do a whole video on it. It has now been internalized in the 40K world, because 40K world kind of solidified it when it took on this same rules as AOS has. I have a strong hatred for it, but it's probably deeper than I would want to or should explain here. But I would like to see that clarified and or pushed one way or another as part of the AOS formal rules. I think would be a good thing. I think that the way it's written right now and the clarification, if you came down without a change, would actually be worse for the game. But there we are. That can be, of course, debated separately. But what we want to know for this week's topic, short, simple, what are you wanting to see? What are your frequently asked questions? What have you run up against when you're playing the game with other people? What are those little proud nails that keep getting in your way and that you don't feel that there's a solid answer to out there? In any game of this size and this magnitude, with this many war scrolls and this many different permutations to rules, there's always going to be a few little hanging things out there. So that's this week's topic. As always, throw those responses down in the comments, or if you want to make a video response talking about, the sort of clarification or FAQ you want to see, go ahead and do that. Link me that video, and I'll put that link down in the description. So you can always return back to this video and see all of those shared videos. So there you go. Thank you very much, everybody. Look forward to the discussion. As always, we'll see you next time.